Hey guys, so I wanted to share a really poignant example that demonstrates how, even though the Affordable Care Act isn't perfect, and even though it certainly doesn't go far enough, there's still value in it because it was a step in the right direction. Now, that doesn't change the fact that it's a fatally flawed policy that needs to be reformed in order to be effective and do what it wanted to do initially. And I think that the way you reform it is to include a public option or move towards single payer, obviously. But there's one example of how the Affordable Care Act had an impact on one citizen, and I wanted to share it because I thought that it was great.
You just mentioned pre-existing conditions. Let me introduce you, and please get up, because I know you want to engage. Jeff Jeans is from Sedona, Arizona. He was a lifelong Republican, and then something happened. Jeff.
Come back.
I was a Republican, and I worked for the Reagan and Bush campaigns. Just like you, I was opposed to the Affordable Care Act. When it was passed, I told my wife we would close our business before I complied with this law. Then, at 49, I was given 6 weeks to live with a very curable type of cancer. We offered 3 times the cost of my treatments, which was rejected. They required an insurance card. Thanks to the Affordable Care Act, I'm standing here today alive. Being both a small business person and someone with pre-existing conditions, I rely on the Affordable Care Act to be able to purchase my own insurance. Why would you repeal the Affordable Care Act without a replacement?
Oh, we wouldn't do that. We want to replace it with something better. First of all, I'm glad you're standing here. I mean, really, seriously. I mean, no, really.
Can I say one thing? I hate to interrupt you. Can
Yeah.
I say one thing? I want to thank President Obama from the bottom of my heart because I would be dead if it weren't for him.
So I thought that was really touching. I thought that his story, it really resonated with me because even though, I criticize the Affordable Care Act and I certainly wanted at least a public option, it did improve the lives of some people. I think that certain provisions of the Affordable Care Act are great. So I mean, the provision that prohibits health insurance companies from discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions, I think that was a no-brainer. The fact that younger people can stay on their parents' plan until they're 26, these are things that are great. They're no-brainers. However, there are other provisions that I'm not too keen on. I mean, for example, you have the individual mandate, which requires people to purchase health insurance. Now, theoretically speaking, the reason why we have this individual mandate and why you're fined if you don't purchase insurance is because, in theory, if everyone buys health insurance, then people who accumulate these huge medical bills when they have medical emergencies, well, they have insurance, so that will be paid for. But if you have people without insurance, well, then if they have a medical emergency, they rack up these medical bills and they never pay them off. And then what happens is, hospitals and whatnot, they'll raise the prices, so the price goes up for everyone. So this is supposed to keep the cost down for everyone. But that's not really what happened because there's not enough cost control provisions in the Affordable Care Act. It was a free market solution. And Paul Ryan is such a slimy asshole. That's what I wanted to talk about too in this, because Paul Ryan pretends like he cares about the American people, but he doesn't. This guy, he doesn't give a rat's ass about that guy right there. He doesn't, because he's repealing the Affordable Care Act for political reasons. He's had all this time to come up with a replacement, and there are many things that you can do. He has nothing. Yet, Paul Ryan is going to repeal the Affordable Care Act without proposing an adequate solution. If you do that, people like this guy will die. So he's trying to pretend like he cares about, the lives of citizens and what will happen if they don't have health care. But in actuality, he doesn't give a damn. He's doing this for political reasons because he railed against the Affordable Care Act for the last 8 years, and now he has to put his money where his mouth is and actually repeal it because he was talking a big game. But I've said this once, I'll say it again. Throwing 30 million people off of their health insurance plan is not a way that you want to govern. And this is why Republicans, they have no idea how to govern. See, they're really great at mobilizing voters and messaging and fighting the Democrats, but when it comes to them actually doing things and governing, they have no idea what the fuck they're supposed to do.
I'm glad you're standing here. I'm glad you're standing here.
The fact that this is even on the table, that they're willing to actually repeal it before they even put forward a replacement, if they honestly do this, I don't know what to say. It would be unbelievable to me. You know, you're just screwing over Americans for political reasons because you think it would make you more popular. It's grotesque.
Oh, we wouldn't do that. We want to replace it with something better.
Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
You know, what's crazy to me is that the only reason why they don't like the Affordable Care Act is because Obama proposed it, and they didn't want Obama to take credit for anything that was good, even if it was marginally good, and they didn't want Obama to seem popular, but Obama gave them a gift. This one was a gift to the health insurance industry. That's why they lobbied for it and pushed for it. And also, this was a conservative healthcare plan because it's a free market solution to healthcare that was proposed by the Heritage Foundation. Mitt Romney adopted this plan. So they're only against it for political reasons, and now they're going to throw 30 million people off of their healthcare plan for political reasons. Thousands of people will die because of political reasons. And, you know, if you see in Paul Ryan's eyes in that clip, he couldn't care less. So it's despicable. The Republican Party, they've got to collapse.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.